everyone, Amanda here, thanks for joining me. So we're on with the Spring Blossom Cottage Journal, and I have come up with a lovely closure for our pop out cover element. Okay, so the front of this journal cover has a pop out element, and I've designed this lovely closure. So the closure is a shaker. So we've got some lovely shakers there. We've got these lovely fussy cuts from the collection. It holds all of that pop-up element on the front cover closed, and it is magnetized. Okay, my paper's still a bit wet, so you won't hear the sharp click of the magnets. So this section here, we've got a lovely image. We've got the little rabbit peeking out there just behind this teacup, one of the lovely cottages, and then the way it's been done, the lovely florals are all framing it. Okay, and then when you open it, you've got the lovely cottage there, and then obviously we've got this beautiful pop out element. So that was just something to make the front cover a little bit different. So apologies if I repeat myself with the welcome on the next part of the video, but it is a step-by-step tutorial. So I hope that you can follow it and make yourself one of these magnetic shaker closures for your pop-up journal cover. Hello everyone, Amanda here. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my craft room. So today I am continuing work on my Spring Blossom Cottage Journal. You can take a look back in my previous videos and have a look at how we made this lovely pop out element for the front cover and how we made our front cover, back cover and spine using fabric tape method, and I've also shown a very slow real-time video of how to do hidden sewn signatures. So these are sewn in, but you don't see the sewing on there. Okay, so what we're going to do in this video is I'm going to make a closure for this element. Okay, because it's 3D, it's got a little bit of dimension, and I kind of don't want it flopping about when I open the book. So I was toying with the idea of doing a complete closure for the whole of the journal. But then I thought, well, when that's undone, this bit's still going to be flopping about. So we're going to do a dedicated closure just for this section. So what you're going to need to start with, you're going to need a piece for the flap. Okay, and this measures 4 5/8 of an inch by 3 3/4. Okay, and then we're going to put it in the scoreboard with the 4 5/8 measurement to the top. We're scoring at 1/2 inch and then 7/8 of an inch. Okay, and the 1/2 inch there is going to attach all the way to the inside of your front cover there. Okay, we're going to glue it on there. All right, but are we going to attach that now? Shall we? I think we can attach that right away. So I'm going to add glue on here. Now, if you're worried about the strength of it, don't worry too much. You could add some fabric tape or whatever, but we're going to be lining with paper, so it's going to give it a little bit of extra strength, but it's only holding the oopsie daisy, the 3D pop out. It's not holding the whole book, so it shouldn't come under too much stress. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to get my ruler and I'm going to kind of have a look where the middle is. Okay, so the middle is about 4 1/4 on mine. If you've done yours a different size, obviously center it a different way. So I want it about there. And then obviously you can just go by eye. Okay, so before that fully dries, I'm going to have a look where that's going to fall and make sure I'm happy with it. Okay, so it's going to fall over the house, but we're going to add something interesting on there, so it doesn't matter that it's covering up part of the paper. And we've got a lovely border all the way around with these florals here, so it will still looks really nice. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that that's glued on firmly, and then I'm going to show you how I'm going to attach my magnets. So I'm going to attach my magnets because I've already laid my paper down on here. Okay, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do, but there's a way we can still do it. We can open the pop-up part here. Okay, if I just lift it and show you, and we can slip our magnet in the back of there. So what we want to do is just kind of assess whereabouts. So if I go kind of central but more to the side, with my magnet, so I'm going to aim for about here. So I'm grabbing one of my magnets. I'm just going to grab 2. I've got 3 there, hold on a minute. And let me just put my magnets, one there. I'm going to put one right over the other side of my desk because they'll end up banging together. And you don't want that because then they can break. So I'm going to get some really strong red line tape, and I'm going to use wide tape because the magnet that's going to go under here is not going to have any paper laid over the top of it. So you need to make sure it's down really firmly with some lovely red line tape. So I'm going to cut myself some pieces. Let me just grab some scissors. Okay, so that I've got them ready. All right. And then I'm going to get one magnet first of all. Make sure I have that nice. I'm just going to double check the strength of my magnet. It's still lovely and strong. Some magnets aren't very strong, and so the more layers you put between the magnets, the less strong they're going to be. But these are super strong, so it's going to go through the thickness. The thickness of my tape's not going to affect it because it's going to be clicking on the other side anyway. So I'm going to lift this bit up. I'm going to pull it up as far as I can, and I'm going to have a look on the inside. It's hard for me to show you on camera because obviously I'm inside this pop-up element. And I'm going to put it as close to the edge of the pop-up element. You'll see where the folds are, and I'm going kind of central. And then I'm going to make sure that that's pressed down really firmly. So if I lift it up, you might just be able to see it there. Okay, so I've not overlapped onto where the 1/2 inch attaching strip is. I've gone just next to it. So now what I can do is I should be able to get my other magnet, okay, and it should find its partner like so. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put myself a blob of glue. And now if you've got PVA glue, which is white, it will be easier for you to see. Okay, so I'm putting some glue there, or you can use paint, but I've done that before and then ended up getting it everywhere. So then I'm going to fold my flap. I'm going to make sure that's all lined up nicely. I'm going to fold my flap, press that down, but not too, so that this is wrapped around nicely. Okay, then I'm going to make sure it's straight, and I'm going to press on my magnet, and that'll leave me a gluey dot. Okay, there's my gluey dot. So now I want to get my magnet, okay, and I want to flip it over and place it on the gluey dot. Okay, and then I can get my red line tape, and I can cover over this with an X so that it's nicely covered. Okay, try my best not to let that magnet move from where the gluey dot is. Okay, mold the tape around the magnet, and I'll add another piece after actually because I want to take this off and then put another piece on, so I'll do that after. Then you'd line that with your pattern paper, and that will give you a closure. And hopefully, is that sitting straight? If you feel like it's not sitting straight, then remove it and do it again. Okay, I don't feel like mine's sitting straight, so I'm going to remove it and do it again. Okay, until, and you can remove it on here, it'll be fine because you're going to cover over it. Okay, so let me do that again. All right, I wasn't happy with the placement of that, or is it that this is not straight? Okay, well, let me do it again. I didn't get it in the right place. There's no harm in showing you my mistake so you can see how to rectify it. Okay, so that should now be okay, as long as I make sure that my magnet goes in the right place. Although I don't really know why that made a difference, but hey ho, we want it correct. We don't want a wonky flap. Nothing worse than a wonky flap, ladies. We don't want it. Okay, and now you can see that sitting straighter. All right, so there's no harm if something's not correct. redo it. You've got to check that your positioning's right before you put your paper on. Then you've got the opportunity to do that, same as I did. So now I will make sure that that's down firmly so that it doesn't shift anywhere. Don't want it moving, because you know that's exactly the right place. And then I'm going to layer that with pattern paper. Okay, but what we're going to do now is we're going to, and this might have been easier to do before I added it on, but hey ho. So what I've also created is a window pocket. Okay, so this measures, so you cut in a square of cardstock 4 3/4 by 4 3/4. Then you're going to score at 1/2 inch all the way around. Okay, then you turn it over, and from the outside edge in, measure with your ruler 1 inch, draw a pencil line, turn it from the outside edge in, draw a pencil line. My score line's there, my pencil line's there, can you see? So we're drawing it in at 1 inch all on all 4 sides. Then where the lines meet, you're going to cut out the centre. Okay, you'll have a centre square where these lines cross. You've got a centre square. Cut that out with a sharp knife. If you're not good with knives, use your scissors, stab a hole in the middle and cut to each corner, and then cut along your lines. Then you want a piece of acetate, and you're going to stick this on the inside, and your acetate measures, mine measures 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Now when you're sticking your acetate down, it's really important to use no more than 1/4 inch tape, otherwise your tape's going to show at the other side of your black cardstock, and you don't want that. Okay, so that is as far as I've prepped. So then you want to fold and burnish all of those lines. Okay, and we're going to cut across where the score lines intersect. We're going to cut across. Okay, and here, and we're going to do that on all 4. Are we doing it on all 4 sides? Let me just check, because we want to seal our shakers in. So on the very top, so that's on 3. We've done them 2. We've done the 2 bottom corners. On the 2 top corners, don't go right across. Go at a slight angle and a slight angle. So not as sharp, not as severe, okay? Because we want to tuck this bit in, and we're going to add some shakers, and we don't want the shakers falling out. Okay. So now I've cut a piece of paper that's going to go inside, and this measures, I believe it's 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay. So that is going to sit in there, but it's going to actually glue onto there. But we need to do some jiggery pokery first. So what you're going to do is you're going to glue the side, okay, and the bottom, but not the far side and not the top. Okay, should we? No, we'll glue all these 3, okay, but not the top one. Okay, so glue the sides, glue the side, and then glue the bottom. Just take care not to get glue on your acetate, or it'll look like a bit of a dog's dinner. But if you do, you know, it's not the end of the world. If you do it once, you'll remember not to do it next time. I'm always doing it. Right, so double check which way up your journal is. Okay, I've got it the right way up. Always checking. Okay, so this is now going to sit, okay, on here, and it's going to go edge to edge. Okay, so line up the bottom corner. It wants to be just away from the score line. Okay, if I show you the other side, it's lined up with the edge, and it's lined up with the bottom. Okay, you might just need to wait for that to dry, because I've done mine awkwardly, because I kind of design things as I'm going. So I cut my piece and I decided I was going to put a pocket on it. So you might want to do all of this before you attach it to your cover. Okay, once that's all dry, we're then going to glue our piece and we're going to slide it in so that it's covering those parts that we've just clipped. But we're not going to glue the top of the picture down. So start from about here. The reason being, we're going to slide it in, we're going to only glue it halfway, then we're going to put our shakers in, then we're going to tuck this underneath the picture and glue, okay, so that it's all nice. So let me see if I can get this. Let me demonstrate. Obviously I've glued mine on there now. I wish I'd waited. So I'm not gluing all the way to the top so that I can still lift that page up, that image up, okay? I'm going to turn my book this way so that I can see what I'm doing. I'm going to open this little pocket and I'm just going to, if I push it from the side, it'll just bend a little bit. And I can slide this image in to make sure that it's over the top of those tabs. Oops, I've got it wrong way. Make sure your image is the right way. Okay, and another reason, if you bend it like so, you'll make sure you're not getting any glue on that acetate. Okay, so when you've got it in place, you can then just press that and it will stick down. Okay, now at this point I would advise you wait for the whole thing to dry before adding your shakies. Okay, I'm impatient, I'm teaching, and so I don't have time for that. I've got time for it. So I'm going to go for some yellow, which I think is super pretty. Let me just see what I can scoop it in with. What can I scoop it in with? I need like a little scooper. I can use this. Okay. Can I? No, I can't. That's not adequate. Let's just see if I can manage with tweezers. Me and tweezers aren't friends, but I'll see if I can manage. Okay, so again, I'm going to bend it. I'm going to throw some shakers in there. I'm just going to stand my book on its end, actually. Stand it on its end and do it. Amanda, it'll be far easier. Oopsie daisy. And they're everywhere. I've got like a little tiny spatula somewhere, but do I know where it is? Absolutely not. No idea. But I do have one. Okay. Just do your best. Okay. So I've got some yellow. Let's see if we can just gather some of these up that I've thrown everywhere. But I'm not going to put those in my book because I could have bits of goodness knows what on this crafting mat. I don't really want bits of goodness knows what. I've used all my blue ones, which is a bit of a... Oh, I've got some lilac ones. They might be cute right there. Put some lilac ones in. Cute. And some white ones. I'm not going for loads of shakers. You know, I don't... Oh, I've done it again. I've flicked them everywhere. I'm not very good at this. Okay. Let's have a look. Could do with some more. Let me see if I can do it with my fingers. I'm trying to think of easier ways of doing things, and sometimes just going in cave girl style will work. Okay, let me just move those out of my way. I don't want them sticking to me. Right, so my shakers are in now. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to glue. Just try and do it so you can see what I'm doing. And now I'm going to put glue on this section here, and I'm going to fold it under, and I'm going to fold it behind that image so that it sits nice. Okay, so then that's sealing the whole shakers and you've got a nice neat look. Okay everyone, I've done it. So I just needed to pull the prise the paper down a little bit further, and then I've tucked that flap under the paper, and I'm now going to glue that shut. Okay, should give me a nice neat edge. Okay, and I'm just going to clip it a minute so that it can dry. I like to make things difficult for myself by doing things the hard way and then showing you and telling you whilst I'm doing it what's the easy way. So the easiest way to do this is to do it before you glue it onto your book. So, okay, don't be a numbskull like Amanda. Okay, so now I just need to layer this with paper. So what does this measure? Forgotten, I've blinked. Let me remind myself, is it 3 So it's 3 3/4 by 3 3/4. So I'm going to do a 1/4 inch border. Okay, 3 3/4. I've just got some patterned paper here. I'm just going to cut my borders. And then I'm going to go 3. So 3 3/4 minus 1/4 is 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. 3 1/2 by 3 1/2. Okay. Let's move that big trimmer. Alright, I'm going to ink this. And then I'm going to glue it on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just make sure that that's pressed all the way around. I'm going to remove my backing from my tape. And just to be extra safe, I'm going to put another one. Because I can't help myself. I can't help it. Okay. I'm going to put it the other way. Just to make sure that it's got no chance of moving. Okay, remove that back in. Then I can glue my paper. Now, if you don't like seeing the indent of the magnet in your paper, print it on cardstock. The other thing to do is if you only glue around the perimeter and miss out the middle where the magnet is, then the paper won't mould around the magnet and you won't have that ugly kind of indent that you sometimes get. Okay, so I'm adding that on, making sure I've got an even border top and bottom. Press, 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 and because I've not glued the middle, you're not going to get that indent of that magnet. And then that will close. And I've got my lovely magnetic closure. Okay, now all I need to do is do either a full square border and cut the middle out, or do small strips and join it up, and that is your closure done. So the next tutorial is going to be some kind of just very basic interactive element for the front cover, and I've got a nice deconstructed envelope for the back cover. And then if you would like to watch me do a bit of decorating, some of my matting and layering and some of my decorating process, hop on over to the Facebook group. The link's in the description below. I am going live tonight at 7 PM UK time, and to do a bit of crafting. So if you want to come and join us, come along, you're more than welcome. So I hope that you're able to follow along with that, and we've now got a lovely shaker magnetic closure. The matting and layering will be done by the next video. Take care and I'll see you soon. Bye.